This is CS952, Introduction to Web Technologies and Design. And in our last video, we had just added this new CSS file. And if I look in my Files panel, I can see in my CSS folder there's Bootstrap, there's my navigation.css, and then there's my new styles file. We're going to be saving the styles that we're using for our website. So what I want to do is I want to create a selector. Remember that CSS selectors are kind of like the glue, or it's the chain that links what we're doing in a style in a CSS file to the actual web page itself. So I'm going to go to my CSS Designer. I want to make sure that I have styles selected. I'm going to click on Global. Right now this isn't critical. It will be important a little bit later, but remember we're doing mobile first website design. And we're saying mobile equals global. We're styling first for the mobile website. Mobile equals global. And I'm going to add a new selector. Click on the plus sign for a selector. And my selector is going to be called $FOOTER. Now, you should know right away that this is an ID. Why is this an ID? Because it begins with the pound sign or hashtag character. If it began with a period, then it would be a class. So this is an ID. This means that this can also be used as a link on a page. As you recall from week 3, that IDs can also be used as links. And also, it can only be used once on the page, which is fine because we only have one footer on the whole web page. So I'm going to hit Enter. I now have a new selector that's called Footer. By itself, this isn't going to do anything. It's just a selector on a CSS file that doesn't have any properties yet. If I look at my styles.css file, we can see there's pound footer, there's a couple empty curly braces, and there's nothing inside of it. Furthermore, there's nothing on our website that is a member that has this ID attached to it. So let's take care of that right now. Let's go back to Live View, and I'm going to click on my footer. I just clicked right on the footer, but I could click on the footer here in my DOM panel. I could click over here, however I want to select my footer. And if we look at my footer, I'm clicking at it in the property inspector. It says footer.textCenter. And if I look at the properties for my footer, yes, it's a member of the text center class. That's why the text is centered. It doesn't have an ID attached to it. If I click on that little drop-down menu, I'm going to see that there is an ID I could attach to it, and it's an ID of footer. This word, footer, shows up under footer ID only because we created a selector called footer. If I would have created a selector called footer plus, and we clicked on this little bar and this little drop-down menu item, it would say footer plus. So this is an example of how when we create a selector on a CSS style sheet, that selector is now available for us to use on our web page. So I'm going to click right here on footer. And when I do that, now we can see it says footer. It's a member of the text center class, and it's also got an ID of footer. If I go to split view and actually look at the code in the HTML, it says footer class equals text center. Of course, because we can see that it's got .text center. We're using the Bootstrap text center class, and then it says it has an ID of footer. So now we've got that link between what we're doing on our web page and what we've defined in our CSS file. So let's actually have this do something. What I want to do is add 20 pixels of padding above and below the word copyright. Let me just go to regular live view. So right now my footer is pretty unimpressive. It's just one sentence here. When we use padding, it adds space inside of our element. Another property that's real similar is margin, which adds space outside of the element. But I want to make my element bigger, and I'm going to do that by adding some space inside of my element. So here's what we do. I've got my styles file selected under my source. I've got global selected under my @media. And remember, global is mobile because we're writing rules that will apply from the mobile view all the way on up. The only selector I have is footer, so that's easy choice. I'm going to go to my layout properties. These are where we assign different properties. And if I click down here, I'm going to find my layout for padding. Right here it says padding. I'm going to click where it says 0px and just type in 20. And when I hit enter, Dreamweaver by default will assume that I'm talking pixels. And I'm going to hit enter. And when I do that, now we have 20 pixels of spacing above the word Wayne. Copyright Wayne Jones. So let's go down here and let's type in 20 down here. Now we've got 20 pixels of spacing down there. Cool. So now we have that link. If I look at my if I go to split view and look at my style sheet, we can see here's my style rule. It says something that has an ID of footer, add 20 pixels of padding to the top and 20 pixels of padding to the bottom. And if I look at my source code for my HTML page, we can see right there it says ID equals footer. Now what I'd like to do is I would like to have my footer, the colors in my footer, actually match the colors that I'm using for my navigation bar. There's a couple different ways I could do that. If I could click on my background color shortcut right here and click on background color, and I have some background colors already set from a previous project. If I want to get rid of these, I just click on these colors and drag them off because I want to start fresh here. Let me do that. Alright. Blank slate. I want to set my background color. I don't remember what the number is, the color number is for my background color, so I could go back to my Get Colors from Image. This is that purple color I liked. I could highlight that, right click, and choose Copy, just like I did before. Go back to Dreamweaver, click where I have my background color, and paste in that number that we just copied. There you go. And you can see we've got that purple color is coming up right away. Now if I hit enter, there we go. Now my background, my bar has changed to that particular color, purple. I can't read the text again because it's black text on the kind of that purple background. If I want to change the color of the text, I just click on the text properties. You can see we've got color. I click over here under set color. Now you may remember that the color white is # FF. Okay, and if I hit enter, now I've got white text on that purple background. That's one way to do this. There's another way that's really super handy, and that is I'm going to add that color set file, that little JPEG picture that I took of all those colors. I'm just going to make it one of the assets that I'm using in my website. So if I go to my Files panel, here it is. And now to add a file to my website, all I need to do is to just drag it over here in my Files panel into this root directory somewhere. Because remember, the root directory is the universe of files that Dreamweaver is going to be using for your website. So let me go and find that out on my desktop. So here's my desktop, and here is my color set file. So if I want to add this to the files that I'm using in my website, all I need to do is just click on that file and just drag it straight over to my Files panel, and there you have it. But how do I actually get the colors that I'm having here into Dreamweaver? Well, that's really pretty handy too. I'm going to click to my CSS Designer. I'm going to go to my window, and I'm going to look at assets. Assets are any files, anything that we've added to our website that's available for us to use. Remember we talked about how Bootstrap and CSS, those are assets for our website. So let's click on Assets, and look, right there it is. Those are my colors right there. I'm going to open this up and make it a little bit larger. So we have different kinds of assets. There's preset color numbers and links, but the first thing that came up is images, and right there at the very top is my colors file. That is the file that we just now dragged over. We can make this larger if we need to see a little bit bigger. There you have it. So then how do I actually get those colors into my website? Okay, if I wanted to change the color of my footer, I'm going to go back to my CSS Designer, make sure I have style selected, make sure I have global selected. I'm going to click on my selector, and then I'm going to go look at the properties. Let's go look at my background properties. And we've got this purpley color. I'm going to click on that. Now this is super neat. Dreamweaver has this eyedropper. It says sample a color from anywhere on the screen. So we could actually sample any color that's anywhere on our screen. If I like the background color of my desktop, I could click and drag the little eyedropper over and hover over the background color of my desktop, and you can see it's that black color, I'd add it in. But if I wanted to use the red color from my color set, I just need to hover over my red color. So this is another way for me to get that purple color. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hover over that purple color, and I want to add this as a color swatch. I just need to click on this plus button. Now I can get to this color anytime I want. Let's go ahead and add in all these colors. So this is sort of the lighter, dirty kind of purple color, and let's click plus on that. There's that's been added as a color. And then this green, if I need that, I'm going to add that in. And yellow, I'll add that in. And then the red color, I'll add that in. So these colors will be available to me from now on anytime I need them. So I don't need to have my assets panel open. Let's close that up. Oops, closed up the wrong panel. So you can see we've got that red color. If I click back over here in the background color and I want to go back to the purple color, I just click on the purple color and hit enter. And that changes the purple color as well. So this is how we can change different colors of different background properties. Kind of our first shot there at working with CSS Designer and selecting colors. When we come back, we're going to learn how to save our development page that we've created so far. We're going to save this as a template and then use this template to generate all the pages from our website. Before I go any further, I'm going to choose Save All, and then we'll come back here in a minute.